Greetings of the day to all the viewers. Welcome to Bangla Shikha Classroom, an endeavor of Paschim Bongo Samogra Shikha Mission, Department of Education, Government of West Bengal. I am Dr. Ivy Sarkar, Headmistress, Srirampur Girls High School, and today the lesson that we are going to learn is for class 11 semester 2 examinees, that is My Last Touches by Robert Browning. So today we are going to continue with the second part of the explanation of the poem My Last Duchess by Robert Browning. Now, at first I would like to tell you a very brief story. There was a duke, it was Italy, Ferrara. So he was the Duke of Ferrara. His last wife, the last Duchess, she died. And now a messenger or an envoy has come from a count, C-O-U-N-T, count of Tyrol, with another marriage proposal for the niece, N-I-E-C-E, niece of the count, whose name was Barbara. So the name of this lady is Barbara. So Barbara was the daughter of Ferdinand I and niece of the Count of Tyrol. So, for the hands of Barbara, a negotiation has begun with the Duke of Ferrara. So, a messenger has come. Now, the Duke of Ferrara has shown the picture or the portrait of his last Duchess to the messenger, and he was telling the messenger by showing the portrait of his last Duchess what were the things that could be seen as character traits in his last Duchess, what he disliked, what he expected, and through this he wanted to convey the message to the messenger what are the features that he would like to be in his would-be wife. So actually this is the synopsis of the part 1. So in part 1 of the video lesson from Bangla Shikha Classroom, I have continued with this monologue that the Duke was delivering to the silent listener, the messenger. So now let us start from line 22, where the Duke is describing his last Duchess. Now here what he says, she had a heart. Everybody has a heart. All of us, we have hearts. So she had a heart. How shall I say? See the long hyphen. This is a punctuation, no? Long hyphen. Long hyphen indicates thought process. So this was a speech, a monologue. So this long hyphen indicates thought process of the Duke. The Duke says about his Duchess, she had a heart. How shall I say? That means, how shall I describe her heart? How shall I describe her heart? Too soon made glad. Glad means happy. She had a heart that was too soon very happy, too easily impressed. So it was very easy to impress her. She liked whatever she looked on, and her looks went everywhere. So what the Duke says? The Duke says that she had a heart. And how was her heart? That heart was too soon made glad, too easily impressed. That means it was very easy to please the Duchess. She was an unsophisticated lady. She was a very simple, candid lady. She was a lady without such extravaganza or such superior sense of dignity and royalty. So she could be easily impressed. And the Duke says she liked whatever she looked on. Whatever she looked on, she liked, and her looks went everywhere. That means she liked everything. Now, sir, it was all one. Sir, it was all one. Who is this sir? The messenger. He is the silent listener here. It was all one. What was all one? My favor at her breast. My favor at her breast means the Duke's gift to the lady. Maybe some ornament to be worn at her breast. Maybe something like this, it can be something like this, a necklace like this to be worn at her breast. So the Duke says, my favor at her breast, that means my gift to be worn at her breast. The dropping of the daylight by the west, that means the sunset in the west. Or the bough of cherries, see, branch of cherries. Some officious fool who might pluck and present to her. Or riding on the terrace on a white mule were all same thing to her. Again, I would explain you what he meant. Now, sitting and doing a class, going to the school, going to a shopping mall, going to a picnic, or going to a hill station for 10 days, all these things are different, will give us different amount of pleasure. But the Duke says to the Duchess, several things or all the things give equal amount of pleasure. For example, my gift, my favor at her breast, costly gift to be worn at her breast, that gave her pleasure. Equal pleasure was given to her or was provided to her, or she derived equal pleasure from the sunset in the west. She received similar pleasure when some fool official or some official who was ever ready for any unwanted service broke some branch of cherries and gifted to her. She derived similar pleasure when she rode on a mule, on a white mule on the terrace of her palace. She rode on a mule. Can you children point out something is wrong in the picture? What is wrong in the picture? See, the Duchess riding on a mule, see, on the terrace of the palace. What's wrong? Terrace means roof, or it can be even the raised platform before the palace, in front of the palace. So here she is riding on a mule on the terrace of her palace. Yeah. Yes, many of you pointed out. I know, I am confident. It was a white mule. The Duke mentioned about white mule, and here in the picture we have a black mule. So you have to imagine it was a white mule that the lady rode on. How is a white mule? This is the picture of a white mule. So actually the Duke says that the lady often rode on a white mule. Where she rode? On the terrace of their palace. These also gave her equal pleasure. This is something nonsensical to the Duke, because he feels himself to be superior than all others. He feels himself to be of a very high statute. He has an extraordinary sense of dignity within himself, and he wanted his wife also to pay him that homage and devotion all the time. So he says that, sir, it was all one. My favor at her breast, the sunset in the west, branch of cherries broken by some officer and presented to her, or her riding on a white mule on the terrace of our palace. All were same to her, and all brought out similar kind of thankfulness, similar kind of words of appreciation from her mouth. Sir, it was all one. My favor at her breast, the dropping of the daylight in the west, that is the sunset, the bough of cherries, some officious fool broke in the orchard for her, and the white mule she rode with round the terrace, all and each would draw from her alike the approving speech, similar kind of words of appreciation, or blush at least. If she would blush at something, she would blush at everything. If she would say thank you, she would thank. In all these situations, she would express her thankfulness in a similar way. Here, the Duke says that she had no sense of, he means to say that she had no sense of dignity. But this is not the sufficient reason. This is not the sufficient reason as to why, not the sufficient reason to put such a simple, innocent, lovely lady to death. She should be appreciated for her beauty. She should be appreciated for her flawless innocence. Instead, she was put to death. Such is the cruelty, jealousy, and elevated sense of dignity of the Duke. Now, one very interesting thing to note. The Duke said that the Duchess was without any sophistication and she could be pleased very easily. She was happy to ride on her white mule on the terrace of the palace. See, she is riding on the terrace of a palace. Now, if you note carefully, why she had to ride on a mule on the terrace of her palace? This points out that the Duke did not allow her to go outside the palace. So again it points out that though the Duke was so authoritative, cruel, dominating, and even did not allow the Duchess to go out of the palace, yet she was so complacent. She was so happy. She was so contented and satisfied. So what do these lines reveal? It reveals the Duke's contempt for his wife's lack of dignity, who had not the skill and the sensitivity to discriminate between gifts and givers. Though the Duke wanted to speak ill about his wife, about his last Duchess, and wanted to show that the lady had no dignity, but again and again and again, the beauty, the simplicity, the innocence of the lady is revealed, and the last Duchess actually represents just for life. And the Duke comes out to us as a jealous, tyrannical ruler. And now we will continue with that from line 31. So, as I told you that the Duke was talking about his last Duchess. So, here he says, to the messenger, she thanked men. Who is this she? His last Duchess, who was Lucrezia. I told this in part 1. Please go through part 1. Then you will be able to understand this in a better way. So, she thanked men. So, who is this she? His last Duchess, Lucrezia. His last Duchess. She thanked men. So, the Duke has no objection, as his wife thanked people. Okay. So, he says, good that she thanked men, but thanked somehow, I know not how, as if she ranked my gift of a 900 years old name with anybody's gift. Here is the objection of the Duke. Here lies the objection of the Duke. The Duke says, my lady thanked men, she thanked people, that is good. But my objection is this, that whenever she thanked men, she thanked somehow in such a way as if she never discriminated between my gift and anybody else's gift. So, she thanked the way she thanked me, in a similar way she thanked another person. So, there was no sense of there was no discrimination. She lacked this sense of discrimination. This is said by the Duke. Duke says, I have an aristocracy, I have a royal heritage, I have a family tradition of 900 years old name. So, she thanked me, she thanked a 900 years old, a gift from a 900 years old tradition, a gift from that family is thanked in a way that she thanked others' gift also. So, she thanked me the way she thanked others. This is where lies the objection of the Duke. So, this is what he says, she thanked me, good, but thanked somehow I know not how, as if she ranked, as if she kept at par. She placed them equally. My gift, here is the superiority of the Duke. He has an elevated sense of dignity, elevated sense of dignity. He feels that he belongs from a tradition, from a heritage, from a lineage of 900 years old, So, he would be valued more. He should be much more respected. That is the reason he says, my gift. So, his gift is more important. Why? Because his gift bears a name of 900 years lineage. So, she thanked such a gift, such a giver, in a way, the way she thanked others. This is what the Duke is unable to digest actually. Now, who would stoop to blame this sort of trifling? So, the Duke finds such action of the lady as a trifling. Where is it? Trifling, sort of trifling. Trifling means petty thing. So, such a petty action, such a small petty action. Which is a petty action? Thanking the Duke the way she thanked other men. This is a petty action. But the Duke says, I could have blamed her. I could have made this clear to her that you cannot keep at par my gift with anybody's gift. I could have said that. I could have blamed her. But if I would have blamed her, that would be a stooping, lowering down my position. Who would stoop? Who would stoop? Means I would not stoop. Actually, what does it mean? If we say in vernacular, the Duke says here, আমি যদি আমার লেডিকে বলতাম যে তুমি এটা করে ঠিক করনি, ভুল করেছো, তাকে দোষারোপ করতাম, তাহলেও আমার ডিগনিটি থেকে নামতে হতো। And I don't stoop. I will not stoop. Why should I lower my position? So, he did not even warn the lady. Even had you skill in speech which I have not, to make your will quite clear to such an one, very, very important, such an one. Who is this such an one? The Duchess. See the way the Duke is talking about the Duchess as if she is an object, such an one, such an one, such an one, and say just this or that in you disgusts me, irritates me. Here you miss or there exceed the mark. Now, what does this mean? The Duke makes it clear. The Duke says that, you know, I had a lady, my wife had no sense of discrimination, okay, but the Duke believes this strongly. But the Duke says here that if one can speak properly, if one can speak beautifully, which the Duke says, I cannot speak beautifully. I am a very straightforward person. I cannot speak beautifully. But if one can speak beautifully, if one has a good skill of speaking, and if that person would make her understand, would have tried to make her understand, see, here you miss, means here this actions in you irritates me. I don't like these things in you. Here you are crossing your limit. Here you are not living up to your dignity. If I had the skill in my speech, and if I would have explained this to her, that these things I don't like, these are the things you should do, these are the things you should not do, if I should have explained, she could have rectified. Perhaps she would have listened to me. Perhaps she would have done things as I wanted. But why should I say? Even if I would have told her, if she would have listened to me, then also that would have been a kind of stooping. That means I would have to lower down from my position and tell her, I want this in you, I want that in you. I never wanted to lower myself. See the vanity of the Duke. The Duke knows, he thinks that if he would have told the Duchess to rectify her manners and to adopt manners the way the Duke wanted, the Duchess would have done that. But still the Duke says, I did not tell her, because if I would have told her, that meant a kind of lowering my dignity, and I would never lower my dignity. You have understood? See, just this or that in you disgust me. Here you miss, there you exceed the mark. If I would have said this, she would have listened, she would have tutored, she perhaps would have rectified herself. She would have perhaps begged apology, sorry, or excuse. But then also, it would have been some kind of stooping or lowering my dignity, and I choose never to stoop. So what? See the vanity of the Duke. যদি আমি ডাচেসকে বলতাম তুমি নিজেকে একটু ঠিক করে নাও, আমি যেরকম চাইছি সেরকম ভাবে নিজের ম্যানার্সটাকে একটু ঠিক করে নাও, হয়তো আমার কথা শুনতো। কিন্তু আমি কেন বলবো? তাকে বলে ঠিক করালে আমার পজিশন নষ্ট হয়ে যেত না, আমার ডিগনিটি কমে যেত না, and আমি কখনোই আমার ডিগনিটিকে কমাবো না। That was the vanity. This was the arrogance of the Duke. So now let's see what character traits of the Duke are revealed from these lines. See, supreme ego, inflated sense of dignity. Inflated means folano, like a balloon, you know. And then his pride in his age-old aristocracy. These are the things that we can find in the Duke. Okay, now the next lines, lines 43 to 46. So, we have now clearly understood that the Duke did not like the simplicity of the Duchess, because the Duke had an inflated sense of dignity, and he always felt himself much superior than others, and that is the reason the childlike simplicity, innocence of the Duchess did not touch him. So now the very important lines. The Duke says, "Oh sir, she smiled. No doubt whenever I passed her," means whenever I passed by her, whenever the husband passed by the Duchess, she smiled. So it was a good offer. But who passed without much the same smile? So this is the objection of the Duke. Here lies the objection. Whenever I passed her, she smiled. But can you tell me, can you mention anybody who passed by her and did not receive a similar smile? That means she smiled at everybody because she thought it a courtesy. But the Duke did not like this. She was very simple. She thought it as a courtesy. But the Duke states specifically, whenever I passed her, she smiled. But whoever passed by her, whoever looked at her, she always greeted them with a smile. That is something courtesy. This grew. I gave commands. Then all smiles stopped together. This grew. What grew? The easy manners of the Duchess. The easy manners, her lovely nature grew. She was a lovely lady. She was a candid lady. She was an unsophisticated lady. Such a simple lady. But the Duke disapproved of her simplicity. She was a lady without vanity. She was a lady without arrogance. But the Duke disapproved her manners. So this grew. What grew? Her simplicity grew. According to the Duke, her easy manners grew. Her disapproving manners grew. I gave commands. The authority of the Duke. I gave commands. Commands for her death. Her death. It is said that either the Duke killed her, poisoned her, or confined her to some convent. These are the rumors. So I gave commands. Then all smiles stopped together. All smiles stopped. So he gave commands for her death, and all her smiles stopped because her breathing stopped, which shows she died. See, this one line is so powerful. This grew, I gave commands, all smiles stopped together. See, one line with a threefold structure sentence, one line sums up the entire drama. This is a dramatic monologue. So, in a poem, we have the miniature of a drama is compassed in a miniature. An entire drama is here confined in a miniature. This grew. So, if we ask what grew, the previous lines, the attitude of the Duchess, the simplicity of the Duchess, the easy manners of the Duchess. What were those easy manners? So, this grew. Then what happened? The Duke commanded to put her to death. I gave commands. And then what happened? The death of the Duchess. All smiles stopped together. The Duchess died. There she stands as if alive. So she died, and now see, she stands here. Where? In the portrait, and looking as if alive. So here is the irony. When she was alive, the Duke did not appreciate her manners, but her beauty. He tries to find her beauty in this artifact, in this portrait, trying to find out the lifelike vitality of the Duchess in the portrait. Next lines. Will it please you rise? The Duke tells the messenger. Now, will you please rise? Let's go down and meet others. We'll meet the company below. So, others are there below. So, let's go down and meet others below. I repeat. What he repeats? I repeat. Very important. The Count your master's known munificence. Munificence means generosity. 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 This points out Generosity. Generosity. So, your master's known munificence. That means the generosity of your master, the generosity of the Count is known to everybody. That means he is known as a Data. His generosity is ample warrant. Warrant means guarantee. So, ample, tremendous warrant that no just pretense of just pretense. Just means rightful, legitimate. Pretense means claim. Should we see? Pretense means claim, dabi of mine for dowry. Dowry means you know, pawn, will be disallowed. Now, what does this mean? The speaker, the Duke, actually clearly asking for dowry. He is telling in an indirect way. Clearly he is asking, but see the way he is telling it to the messenger. You know, your Count is very well known for his generosity. I know my rightful claim for dowry will be allowed. Will not be disallowed means will be allowed. That means what the Duke says? I can guarantee that my claim for dowry will be approved by your master, your count. So he is asking for dowry. And mark it, he said, I repeat, which points out that previously also we have to understand that he is repeating his demand for dowry. That means he is repeating, that means he asked about the dowry even before. This word repeat shows that he asked for dowry even before. Though his fair daughter's self, as I avowed means stated or declared at starting, is my object. Here also two things. So here fair daughter, he asked for their dowry and then he said that no, his fair daughter, that is my object. I would love to have that. I am more interested in that. That is my target, but I know that he will approve my claim for dowry. So fair daughter, he also has a lust for this physical body. And see the way this Duke treats the girls. He is not giving any dignity. His would-be wife, how he is referring to his would-be wife as an object, is my object. Barbara is a lady, a girl, whom he is about to marry, and he is referring to that lady as an object. This also points out the mentality of the Duke. So here what he says to the messenger, he says, come, let us go down and meet the company below. You know your count, he is very well known for his generosity, and I know that he will approve, he will allow my claim for dowry. Though my aim is his fair daughter, I told you at first that is my object, that is the object I want to have. So again he considers, it shows that the Duke considers a lady as his property, not as his partner, not as a human being, but as a property, and he feels he is the sole proprietor of those property. This is the way he treated his last Duchess, and this is the way he wished to treat his would-be wife. So from this line, what characteristics of the Duke is revealed? You know, the Duke gave order and he put the innocent Duchess to death. Here we can remember Shakespeare's Othello. We can remember Byron's pirate king Lambro, the jealousy of those men we can recall here. Anyway, from the last few lines, we also can understand that the Duke was very greedy, a hypocrite person, very amorous in nature, and he very tactfully he puts his demand for dowry. This is also we have seen. Now the last few lines. While going down, when the Duke was going down with the messenger, he points a bronze statue. He points out a bronze statue and he says to the messenger, nay, we'll go together down, sir. Now notice Neptune. Who is Neptune? Sea god. Greek sea god is Neptune. Notice Neptune. Though taming a seahorse. Taming a, so what is that bronze statue to which the Duke points out or draws the attention of the messenger? The statue, a bronze statue of Neptune, the sea god, taming a seahorse. Taming means controlling. So he draws the attention of the messenger to that bronze statue and he says that this statue is a rare piece which Claus of Innsbruck, name of that sculptor, Claus of Innsbruck, he comes from Innsbruck. He has made that this statue for me in bronze. So he points out this statue and draws the attention of the messenger to this statue, and this implies what? This again shows the dominating, the controlling attitude of the duke, how he would like to treat his wife. The wife or the lady with whom he is going to get married. The way he wished to treat her, or what is the thing that he expected from his would-be wife. He wanted to give this clear message that the lady who is about to marry the duke should submit to his will with utmost devotion. Such is the attitude of the duke. Meanings of the difficult words are given here. Neptune, taming, clause of Innsbruck, you can see. And character traits as revealed from these lines, these are also dealt in detail. So, from here you can understand, you can even copy them down, the important points. So, this lines also points out that the duke was an egoistic person, hypocrite, shrewd, cunning, mercenary, very cruel man also. Such is the person. And that bronze statue, you know, that bronze statue of Neptune controlling a seahorse, that is also actually an objectification of the duke's past, present and future. Actually, that resembles the duke who was in full control of his power. He wanted to tame his wife in the past. Such is the attitude in the present, and this is what he is going to do in his future. This is the thing, that message that he gives. According to Bordeaux, a famous critic, the duke showed the statue of Neptune to the envoy. Envoy means messenger. To convey to the envoy and through him to the lady that he demanded. What he demanded? In his new wife, the concentration of her whole being on himself and the utmost devotion to his will. Thank you, children. I hope you have understood the poem. This is a lovely poem. Again, I would say, for the long answer type question, prepare, try to know dramatic monologue, what is a dramatic monologue, substance of the poem, and go through the lines properly. Thank you. Goodbye. Study well.